And good afternoon on this Wednesday afternoon. Roger Hill of Weathering Heights Consulting, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. The big glow picture here, you can see Amazon basin here with a few thunderstorms, typical thunderstorms across the tropics and whatnot. A patch of dust that's moved off the Sahara. Another patch coming in off the Sahara right now. No real tropical cyclones to worry about. There's a little bit of an area of disturbed weather here, I guess it is, that's going to be tracking this direction. It looks like it'll undergo a lot of shear, so not a lot of worries right now in the tropics. Up in our latitude here, the mid-latitudes, we're looking at periodic cloud cover, a couple weather systems to work on through, and we do have one major weather system, and this is going to be a frontal boundary that's going to work through along about Friday night. It'll probably produce a round of wind, channeling winds through the Champlain Valley, and then Friday night we'll see a frontal system that could be fairly robust and produce some gusty winds, some radiant winds to worry about. Also, this could also track through with some thunderstorms. That would happen Friday night. Looking at the current conditions, we have a kind of a flat ridge of higher pressure that's located off to the south of us, a trough of lower pressure over the west coast right now, California included. And one weather system that's going to be tracking pretty rapidly toward us. It's going to push a warm front through the region, and then once that parent area of low pressure tracks off to the north through Quebec, that'll swing in a pretty strong cold front, and that's going to be our next major weather system to watch. Southern U.S. is undergoing a lot of heat, and you can see some purple temperatures there, and these are temperatures in the 90s. Dew point temperatures extend relatively moist conditions right in this sort of baroclinic zone here, where higher humidity meets cooler air at the surface, and right now very dry conditions across Canada. GFS ensemble shows one main precipitation maker, and this is the one at the cold front we were talking about that could also produce some thunderstorm activity out ahead of it. Little bit of a shower from the warm front, and then it looks like a dry day on Thursday as we get into Friday afternoon, Friday night. That's going to be the main event. That moves out Saturday morning, and then some pretty fine weather to follow. This is the European 6-hourly incremental model showing precipitation, pressure patterns, and also temperature. Up in the blue, that's temperatures cold enough to snow, the 0-degree line there, at 850 millibars. So we have fairly decent weather here. A little bit of drizzle is going to be working in on, looks like along the eastern slopes, kind of working in off the Gulf of Maine around this weak area of higher pressure. And so Thursday, not a dry day. Friday's not going to be a dry day because we have a warm front and then a cold front to move on through. And here comes the cold front. And you can see this is basically Friday night. And it's pretty strong fashion cold front here. And it may even include some thunderstorm activity along with some fairly robust rainfall. Latest indications are, though, that's probably not going to happen since this is more nighttime based, roughly between 10 o'clock through about maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. Saturday morning. That system then moves on out. Big broad area of higher pressure begins to push in, and it'll set up some nice weather for us here. Kind of a reinforcing area of higher pressure, 1031 hectopascals. That's a strong area of higher pressure that builds into the region. That's along about Monday. So basically Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and probably into Tuesday, we will see some pretty decent weather. Just to carry that a little bit further, you can see the return flow out of the southwest, and then eventually that sets up the next frontal system with some precipitation incoming, probably not until somewhere along about Tuesday night or Wednesday. Let's talk temperatures. First of all, nighttime lows tonight getting down basically in the 40s. This is centered on Montpelier, Vermont, the GFS ensemble. And then we go up to temperatures tomorrow that get us into the upper 60s to around 70, nighttime low around 50 and so forth. European model is a little different than this, but it's relatively close. And no great surprises here. Let's take a look at what the dew point temperature is, which we can do with the GFS ensemble with this new viewing. We max out with much more moisture And this is just out ahead, pulling out ahead of a cold front on Friday, probably Friday evening, Friday night. And then a nice drop in the dew point temperatures with the moisture, and continues to go back to dew point temperatures that are going to be as low as the 20s and 30s. How do you like that? So, weighted temperatures for the next 5 days, running anywhere from as neutral 0 to 3 degrees above normal. What about 3 days later? This is what it looks like. Neutral. Tropics overall very quiet. We have one system down here, a 20% chance of cyclone formation. Basically, it gets near the Lesser Antilles and it starts becoming sheared. Climate reanalyzer. Currently, the world is cooled down just a little bit, only running about 0.3 of a degree Celsius above normal. Northern hemisphere is the weight of that, 0 in the southern hemisphere. The Arctic running 1.1 degrees Celsius above normal with Arctic amplification. Antarctic is the opposite, and you can see the coolness here with the dark colors, this representing neutral, and then colder than normal, warmer than normal, and so forth. Antarctica is very chilly. The tropics, a little bit interesting there. Usually they're kind of closer to neutral. They're running about 0.4 above normal. Might be a little indication of a weak El Nino beginning to take place. And a little closer look to leave you with. Thanks for watching. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.